Welcome to Evolve Web Modeler, part of the Evolve Suite 2020. We would like to share this with you today because we believe that this can transform the way you're able to increase the adoption speed of the Evolve Suite. As the data governance company, Erwin provides enterprise modeling tools, breaking down organizational and technical styles for collaboration across key data and business architectures, as well as enterprise modeling. Data cataloging and data literacy are combined in a data intelligence capability that enables you to automate your data operations. In today's session, we're going to focus on the enterprise modeling suites, namely the Erwin Evolve Suite. The Erwin Evolve Suite is a full-featured, configurable set of enterprise architecture and business process modeling and analysis tools. You can map IT capabilities to the business functions they support and determine how people, processes, data, technologies, and applications interact to ensure alignment in achieving enterprise objectives, including digital transformation, cloud migration, portfolio and infrastructure rationalization, regulatory compliance, and innovation management initiatives. Erwin Evolve's unique advantages are an integrated web-based modeling and diagramming, as well as high-performance and scalable and centralized repository, configurable platform with role-based views, visualizations and dashboards, and third-party integrations. Today, the focus is on our web-based modeling, so it is on Erwin Evolve Web Modeler. Some of the main features of Evolve Web Modeler are a quick and easy way to create and update diagrams directly from the Evolve Web platform. An intuitive web UI, which opens up diagramming to wider communities, including all of your business users. You're able to collaborate live with other users and work on diagrams in parallel with others without having to close and reopen anything. You can draft and experiment with diagrams before validating and publishing your models and have a fast adoption with minimal training. So now we'll open up the real thing. Okay, so I've opened up our Evolve Web platform, and you can start from any diagram. You can start from an existing diagram, or you can go directly to creating a new diagram. I'm going to first navigate a little bit around, show you different diagrams that we have available, and show you how easy it is to edit them. So this happens to be a business architecture diagram showing me different process domains and business processes inside of them. Of course, you can always drill down, let's say on sales and marketing, go to the next diagram below, go to manage sales, things like that. You can navigate this way. You can also navigate by going side to side through the events and results, objects, and back through the breadcrumbs. So we can go back to business architecture. If at any point you've decided you would like to make a change to this diagram, you can click on the Edit Diagram in Web Modeler button, and that will launch the Web Modeler. The Web Modeler launches in a separate tab, and it opens up your diagram ready for editing. When you're in your diagram, you have the shape palette available on the left. You also have information on the right. So there are certain things you can do, such as turn on your grid, turn on snapping to grid. You also have the palette that's available for you. You can also have styles. You can, for instance, choose an object and change its style. You can also select one of these pre-existing styles here ready for you. So if there's something specific that you wish to change the look and feel of, you can select that and change how it appears. So here is an example of us changing on the fly what something looks like. So you can choose any one of these pre-existing styles. You can also reset to your palette, so that is available for you as well. You can also remove things from this diagram. So if this was something that you didn't want to have here any longer, you can remove that object. One of the things you can now do is space things out on your diagram so you can actually distribute horizontally in that swim lane. So inside of this process domain, I can distribute my objects. I can also select any one of these existing macro processes and change its properties here on the right. I can go in here and type in my human resources description and hit save. Once I've done that, I can also go ahead and take this diagram and publish it. When I publish my diagram, it's actually going to take my draft, make it available to everyone who has access to this diagram. And now I'll refresh my page using my Control F5 on my keyboard, and this will pull up the latest version of this diagram available for me. So you can see that I've made the change in that last swim lane. I've distributed those objects, and I've removed the management process from this diagram. And I can, of course, drill down on sales and marketing and see the details of this process. I can either edit this, or I can continue down to another diagram. For instance, here, I can go ahead and hit the edit button, edit this diagram in the Web Modeler. That allows me to, once again, launch Web Modeler. I can add things in here. I can zoom in and zoom out. I'm just using my scrolling wheel on my mouse to zoom in. I can add a new activity in here. So for instance, here is an activity. The Web Modeler will always have a running tally of things that I need to do. So now I can set a name for this activity. I'll just call this process PO. If this name already existed, I would be able to reuse this object from the list of existing elements. I can also set its criticality. I could set its implementation. I can put in a new description in here. It actually will tell me if something is misspelled, and hit save. So once I hit save, my new process exists. Of course, I should also connect this. So I can connect it to any one of these existing objects. I simply choose an existing object and drag the line between them. So I need to make sure that I choose either mandatory or optional for my line. I also have the ability to change whether the line is bent or straight. So when I create that, and I also can align this, right? So I can align this with the center of my object, and the line, of course, can be changed once again. So you have these abilities to modify where your lines are, to modify where your objects are. Let's connect this to register new sales. And as we go through these diagrams, you always have the ability to change where things are on the screen, where they are in relation to each other. And of course, you have control over the lines as well. So you're not limited to just the auto alignment of your lines. You can also draw them manually. Once you've changed the Manage Sales diagram, you can publish your diagram. And once again, coming back in here, Sales and Marketing, and then drill down on Manage Sales, you will get the latest version of the diagram because it is just pulling it from the repository. So the only time the diagrams aren't in their latest state is when they're in the draft before they're published. So no one else can see them until you've published those drafts. Of course, here is my process PO process. I can see the details. I can edit descriptions and properties and things from here. I can just cancel that. Now we can, of course, go back to our home in the Evolve website, and from here I can drill down on something else. I can go to the home page, which is the top level diagram, and of course from here you can drill down into any one of the existing diagrams that are already in the model. So it doesn't have to be a process flow. It can be an application architecture diagram like this, and then we can hit the edit button to open up what the diagram looks like in Web Modeler. And once we're in Web Modeler, you'll have the diagram available. Just like anything else, you have your palette on the left. You, of course, have the options on the right. And from here, I can look at any one of these existing applications. I can see if something is legacy, it's peach. If it's ERP, it's light blue. If it's set to software, it's pink. If it is middleware, it's kind of this gray color. So now what we can do is we can drag another application into the diagram. So we can drag another middleware into my modeling space. I can give it a new name. I'll just call this middleware new. We can set its criticality. We can set its standardization is in progress. It is a premium contract. We have 352 users. And I'm going to hit save. So now we've added this middleware, and we'll publish this diagram. Once the diagram is published, I'm going to leave Web Modeler open to show you something, but I'll come back in here just to show you what this diagram looks like once we've published it. Because one of the things that Web Modeler allows you to do is it allows you to create diagrams regardless of all the shape regions you might have defined. The Web Modeler doesn't show you the shape regions, but of course the data can be captured. So you can see middleware right here. Zoom in using the zoom buttons. Here is our new middleware application that I made. As you can see, there are those icons on the left, and the icons are for the enterprise standard, criticality, whether it's implementation, and of course you can see 352 users. So that is something that we've visualized in this application, and we visualized it for all of the applications, but you can see at a glance, that's what we're showing. We're showing the number of users. And of course, if we decided we don't want this middleware new in here, we can hit the edit button again, a new draft will be created for us with Web Modeler, and we can remove middleware new from this diagram. It will actually leave it in the repository, but it will remove it from the diagram. So now when I publish my diagram, I'll have this application architecture successfully published. And of course, I can drill down on application architecture, and I'll be able to see this updated diagram without that new middleware app that I added. And the last thing that I wanted to show you is that you can go back into your Web Modeler at any time, and you can click on the plus button at the bottom and create a new diagram. So using the templates that are available for you here, depending on what you've called the template, they will show up, and you can come in and create a new diagram. So for instance, if you wanted to create a new diagram for application services, you can do that. So make sure you first give it a name, and then you can add things to the diagram, whether they're new or existing. The way you add an existing object is you drag something on, and when you go in to edit its name, you can start typing something in, and it will show you any existing services you might have. So if you're not sure, if you just want to create something new, you'll create a new service catalog here. The save button, and that will create this new service catalog for you. And perhaps you can drag an application on, and of course we can call this new middleware. Make sure you hit the save button so it is saved. I believe the one we made a few minutes ago had an underscore somewhere in the name. Of course, if you're not sure what something should be called, you can go look it up. But for now, because we're not keeping this diagram for a long time, we can do that. Now, the lines will only appear for things that can actually be associated to each other. So the service catalog can provide us some access to services. So if we have a service catalog, we can actually then bring a service onto the screen, and perhaps then we can connect the service catalog to the services. Let's give the service a name. So perhaps, there we go, claim registration. There's a service that already exists in the model. You can set its criticality, maybe say it's gold, for instance. Save on that service. So now we have a service. And now this middleware, we can either keep it as is, or we can, oops, deleted that, can actually bring middleware onto the diagram. So if you delete something, you're just removing it from the diagram. Remember, you're not actually deleting that. And let's set this to be middleware. Hit save. So here is that application. So now we can connect a service to an application. So now let's say we were done with this. Well, of course, we can take all the objects in the diagram. We can certainly align the nodes, so we can align the centers of them. So let's say we're happy with a diagram looking like this. Now we're going to go ahead, and maybe this is about claim registration. So we'll say this is about claim registration. Save this diagram. Let's publish the diagram. So now we're publishing a claim registration diagram. We can go back to the home page, and claim registration, of course, was that service. So we can go into our service list. We can have a couple of different ways that we can find what we just made. We have a view of information here, so we can look for claim registration in here. If we're not sure where it lives, just in general, we can look for the service catalog, right? So here's claim registration. We can open that up, see the details of claim registration, and then also the diagrams that it's on. We just made this claim registration diagram, so then we can find it. Here it is. And now you are done. So you can create new diagrams from scratch using Web Modeler, or you can edit existing diagrams. Now you can go ahead and take a look at the Web Modeler yourself in a live demo. We can schedule your demo or schedule a trial with your sales team. Thank you and have a great day.